Okay, we're in section 14 of the notes. And we're just going to briefly talk through the SAGE again. Again, SAGE is a computer algebra system. We want you to become familiar with the computer algebra system. Regardless of which one you're using, you should be familiar with a software that can do mathematics. And SAGE is a good example because it's free and it's well supported and it's used all over the world. Every major university certainly would have users of SAGE in the mathematics and engineering and computer science departments. All right. So the deal over here is I'm just going to go to my terminal to run the SAGE commands, but you can go to the sagemath.org website and run these same commands interactively on the web. All right. So let me go to my my terminal. And I'm just going to type these commands in, and then we'll talk about what the meaning of each one is. Reset. We've done this many times before. Basically, give me a clean slate, getting rid of any junk memory that I don't want or variables that were defined before. I'm going to say n is a variable. It's a variable. Right? I'm defining a variable n, and I want SAGE to assume that n is an integer. I don't want it to be any other thing except an integer. I want integers only. Right? I want it to be an integer. What's an integer? Like 0, 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So n right now is a variable, but it's an integer. All right. So I'm going to define a function an, and that function is looking at it. A is a function of n, and what is it? It's twice n divided by n plus 3. All right. Now, if I type an, watch what happens. I see that it says n is assigned. It's like a function. Let me type in an. And what does it give me? It gives me actual function is. So I think you probably notice the two differences there. So n is being mapped to 2n divided by n plus 3. And an is a function, and that function is 2n divided by n plus 3. So if I write down a10, what's it going to do? It's going to evaluate the function an at 10. Well, I can do that by hand too. And it's going to be 20 over 13. That's not so bad. Let me define bn. Here's another function. And what's that function? Remember, the equal sign is an assignment operator. And I'm getting tired, so I'm going to copy. Okay. And again, if I type b down, what does it say? N is being assigned to this now for b. If I type down bn, it's going to tell me what the function is for bn. There's a difference between the two. All right, let me put down b6. And again, I could do that by hand as well. I get minus 48 over 5. It actually does it for me. All right, I'm going to talk about the next one. And the next one is summations. And summations are nice to be able to do by hand, certainly, adding things together. But when things get difficult, I'm not saying this is a difficult one over here, but I'll tell you what we're doing. We're going to sum 6 star I squared for I in. Now, if you remember back when we did complex numbers, the uppercase I was the unit imaginary. I in most computer language is just some counter variable. So I'm going to count I, 1, 2, yada, yada, yada. So I is going to be in the interval from 0, ... 5. All right. That's 330. Sum 1 divided by 1 plus I for I in 0, ... 4. I got a number there. Okay, so I'm going to say, for the most part, kind of simple to type that stuff in. I want to see if I understand that. Does it relate to what we were given? Does it relate? And what I want to do is I want to do number 9. Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just simply see if I can do it. Sum. Now I'm going to type it in. It's k minus 1 star 2 star k minus 1 4, not I now, K, in. Now, what's it in? It's starting at 1, dot, dot, and it's going to 4. Someone's going to say, if this can do it, why do I need to learn to do things by hand? What you're doing by hand is understanding, right? Later on, sums need to be understood because they're going to get hugely complicated, and you need to understand that. What do you get? 34. Well, what did I do when I did by hand? 34. So forth and so on. You can do this. Now, here's the deal. Could you do other ones? Of course you could. Let's do number 7 now. I'm just going to type in sum. This is going to be I divided by I squared plus 2, right? And again, I have code to look at. 4. Now it's I in what? Well, looking at it, it goes from 0 to 4. What do you get? 115 over 99. Just like we did by hand. No different there. So, the bottom line is, well, can I do all the problems using software? Yeah, you could. But your attempt here is to learn to do things by hand. Let me repeat this, goes back to the beginning semester. You're never going to be able to use a computer productively unless you can do simple things by hand. And that's what we want to get you to, simple things by hand. Make sure you can do simple problems by hand. All right, thank you.